Hello, I'm the writer, editor, director, and one of the lead actors in Facelift. I meant to film this in my bathroom where we've shot the movie, but I didn't really think that through all the way, and so now I'm out here. I guess to break the making of this movie down, I have to break it down into 5 chapters, starting with the idea for Facelift came from many failures, all in a row, all at once. I was, at the time, working on a movie called Brain Rot, a remake of one of my first movies about a killer TV, and I was already pretty far into pre-production on that. I already had an entire script written. I had gotten things made for the movie, people were already involved, and then it fell apart last minute. And then I had a few other ideas in the back of my mind, and I tried even writing one of them, but it just, I don't know, just was not the right time for that idea, I guess. And so I had this other idea called Facelift, which I had come up with in January while I was watching Deep Red. And I don't know what the correlation between those movies are. They're nothing alike. But something in that movie just triggered this whole idea off in my head. And I already had a very clear vision of it, and so it just felt like the obvious movie to make. But since I had already been through failure after failure after failure, I was really hell-bent on making sure this got made and wasn't another project that fell apart last minute, which is why it leads straight to the next chapter of this. When I think back on the pre-production of this movie, it actually went very smoothly, but during the time, it was just felt like a never-ending nightmare, and I mean that literally, too. In the weeks leading up to filming, I just had, like, nightmare after nightmare about things going wrong, like, literally in my sleep. And so I felt like if this didn't get made, nothing I ever made was going to get made, because my last projects just fell apart, and I just felt like I wasn't, I don't know, feeling good about anything, and so I really just wanted to get this made. And so I did all the things I usually do, like I storyboarded it, it was very, like, I wrote it, it pretty much came out naturally, and it mostly stuck to the first draft of it, except I did change certain things, like the news segment changed a lot, and the opening changed a bit too, but other than that, the writing process was pretty smooth. I got people attached to it pretty quickly because there's not that many people in it. And one of the things that was helpful was that my friend who had made music for Brain Rot he's never sent it to me, and I asked, "Oh, do you still have anything from that?" And he said he did, and he sent it to me, and it was great. And so I had like music for the movie. I had everything planned out pretty thoroughly, and I was really ready to just get filming. And because I knew I'd have more time to work on it if it was for school, I just decided, okay, I'll just say it's for school, and I know the teacher will want to cut some stuff because he doesn't like the violence, and the gross stuff probably won't fly. And so I just said I would just send him a cut that was like just trimmed down to hell, and then I would just really focus on this version of the film. And so I did show him the script, and he said, "Why would anyone ever want to read this?" And so I got right into the filming of this movie wasn't as difficult as it was uncomfortable and disgusting. So, I mean, every film there are challenges that present themselves, and I'm sure there were many more that I just can't remember because I shot this a year ago over my spring break. And so one of the challenges that I do remember was that I knew for most of the movie it's just me and him, and so I was like, but there are some shots where I'll need someone else to hold the camera or someone to stand in, and I thought, well, it's going to be shot late at night because it got dark only at like 8, so we were filming from like 8 to 10, and then on the second day 8 to midnight. And so I knew I wasn't really going to find someone to do that, so I just asked my mom to do it. And, that was fine. She's not, like, that weirded out by, like, my films or anything. But it is weird when we're filming all in a bathroom, and I'm covered in drool. My friend's drinking corn syrup and spitting it out, and it's all on the floor, and it's just really miserable in there. And then my mom's holding the camera, recording everything. It was very awkward and uncomfortable. And yeah, we had a tarp in the bathroom, but it got so sticky it just felt like it was, and we were just sitting on the floor. It was just disgusting, and it was already my bathroom. I didn't like clean it or anything, so it was just a pretty disgusting experience. At one point in the film, you see a hand fall into the bathtub, and a fly just came in there. It was just like a disgusting. It was just happened naturally, and so I think that really helped get the film to be a lot grosser, like to the point that I wanted it to. Because probably the biggest influence on this movie that I forgot to mention is the dark backward, which didn't as much inspire the idea. I already had the idea, but I loved that world it was in, and you know how that version of Hollywood is just disgusting. Like, it's just the most disgusting thing I had ever seen. But it was hilarious, and so I wanted to transfer that kind of tone over to this movie, and that led into the filming. And so yeah, I was covered in drool and syrup, and we were taking turns spitting it out of our mouths, and so it was very gross, but I think it made the film better. Post-production went about as smoothly as it could for a film like this. You know, the editing took about like 40 hours, and it was over a few hours every night, which doesn't sound too bad, but it's a lot of time for 5 minutes of a film. And you know, it was worth it though. I really, really do enjoy watching this movie even still. And there were definitely some scenes that were very easy to edit versus some that took like weeks. Like the split screen sequence took quite a while to get the timing just right, where to I wanted it at least. And then another scene that took even longer to edit actually was the scene where his head gets smashed into the bathtub, and that's the scene that changed the most from my original conception in my head, because the footage was really, really bad. I did not get it to where I wanted it to, and I was really nervous about it. But then I remembered what Henenlotter said on the making of Basket Case, which was that he had filmed a scene in Basket Case that was supposed to be really scary, and then it wasn't, and he was really upset. He like just threw the footage away into like a corner of his room because it was on film. And then after a while he realized, well, it might not be scary, but I can make it funny. And so he focused on making it, you know, more funny, and then it's one of the best scenes in the movie. And so that's where I really thought, okay, this might not be as visceral or brutal or scary like I wanted it, but it's funny. So I really leaned into that in the edit. And then also another thing is syncing up the music to everything, which is probably my favorite part of the movie, is how much the music syncs up with everything, even like his eyes going up.
What the hell?
And so, yeah, I mean, other than that, it was a pretty easy film to edit. And then even my teacher said he didn't mind anything in the film, and I didn't have to cut anything, so that meant I could submit it to school contests. Although that's where I was a little concerned, because in the scene after he smashes his head into the bathtub, he's supposed to be having an orgasm. But it's pretty 50-50 on whether people get that or not. But now you know. And, you know, he did tell me this year that he very much regretted playing that, and that other teachers were upset with the decision for that to be played. Usually, people will say, like, oh, they don't like their own movie, they can barely watch it. But for me, I really enjoy watching my movies, at least after some time has passed. And sometimes it gets worse, and there's some movies I can't watch that I made. But this one I really do like watching. And I think this film really captures everything I was really into at that moment in time. And there's even some stuff where, like, I obviously wouldn't like certain scenes that certain way, or even frame them, or I would do a lot differently if I made it now. But that doesn't prevent me from enjoying the movie. In fact, that I kind of enjoy it more now because of that. It doesn't make me think, oh, I should have done that, I should have done that. I think, well, it's interesting seeing where I was at the time I made it. There's a lot of little things that I wish I could go into. My friend's, who goes by Punk Pastel, his music that he made for the movie is great. I'm a big fan of it. I really like how it worked. My friend Luke, even though he's not really an actor, I think his performance is really fun. And that's about it. That's the making of Facelift. Can't believe I forgot to mention it, but the most stressful part of filming this movie was that my family had just adopted a new dog called Hobie, and it was unplanned and stuff, and so I was like, oh no, this is the day of filming. That's gonna mess everything up, and the dog's gonna be traumatized. It's gonna be a whole thing. I'm gonna want to spend time with the dog and not work on the movie. And, it was fine. It didn't change anything.